Are you hearing the early reviews of Borderlands 4? No, are they positive or negative? I've only seen little bits and pieces. Are people liking it or no? Here are my thoughts.
So you want to hear my thoughts about Borderlands 4? Well, here it is. First off, I do want to give a big thanks to 2K for sponsoring this video.
Okay, I can already imagine those are very positive thoughts. It is a 2K sponsored video, come on. Come on. I'm sure those are unbiased thoughts on the game. What about this one?
Yo guys, what is up? Moxie here with a Borderlands 4 video. And today I finally get to share with y'all my first impressions and kind of an overview of my time playing Borderlands 4. Now, I was flown out by 2K. They paid for my hotel and my travel to come and play Borderlands 4. This video is sponsored by them.
All right, I guess I'm gonna have to wait until the game comes out here, perhaps.
Borderlands is compromised. You aren't hearing things, you know exactly what I just said. To some of you, that may take you by surprise. For others, might have been what you've been thinking for a while, maybe quite a long time actually. I've been thinking about making a video like this, kinda not 100%. There's more that I'd like to talk about, but I think I could save it for a video later on. Regardless, I've been thinking about it for a while now. And what really pushed me to make this video was that clip that I just showed you in the beginning of Moist Critical, trying to find an unbiased review, an unsponsored review from some of the people that were able to play Borderlands 4. The pre-release footage that everybody was able to get. I think it was the Borderlands Fan Fest. And him being unable to do so because every time he watched a video, it was immediately blasted by the fact that it was sponsored by 2K. That's what I want to talk about, and why stuff like this, these sponsored reviews, crumbles the integrity of any opinion that comes from those that have played Borderlands 4 so far. But before we get into that, I want to thank our sponsor, 2K Gearbox, for the video. Huge ups to my guys, do it out there. Great shit they've been doing out here. I'm just kidding. Please don't sue me. I'm just having fun. Firstly, I want to go over what a sponsored review means. A sponsored review is when you are paid for what you are saying about the game. For example, 2K, in this case, gave Jolt's Dude money to talk well about the game and give his opinion on the game. Whereas an unpaid review, it's kind of like an audit where the producer of the content or the products, whether you got a spatula or, in this case a video game, Borderlands 4, doesn't know that the review is happening, and there's no communication between the developer and the consumer, and the game is received and played as the way, an everyman, one of the everymen would get it, fresh out the box. So that is the difference between a sponsored review and a non-sponsored review. Now that we've cleared that up, and now that we have a set boundary, a sponsored review is paid, whereas a regular review is not. What difference does that make when it comes to the review? Well, theoretically, it shouldn't. But when money gets introduced to things, you get, if it makes sense, if you are the content creator, to feel some sort of incentive to give the sponsor a positive outlook, so you get calls from them again. After all, they are in effect, the content creators are essentially contractors for this type of work. And if they're walking around giving their honest review on games, and the games they're not really liking, well, guess who's not going to get a call the next time somebody has a new game and they're going to come out? It's going to be the content creator that gave their legitimate opinion and didn't, fall for, or not necessarily fall for, but, say the lines that the, sponsor wants them to say. So there's the money that gets introduced creates a integrity problem with the review inherently, on top of the fact that a lot of this stuff is on contract or on signed papers, deals, whatever, and we as the consumer do not know, or the person watching the review, whatever, do not know what is on that contract or deal. Not ordeal, but ordeal. O-R space D-E-A-L-E, or D-E-A-L. I can't write. those can be very constricting or not at all. For some can be as strict as you can't say anything negative about it. And how do I know that? Because the same person who has the highest viewed Borderlands 4 review that went to that the Borderlands Fan Fest to play the game, Jolt's dude, also did one for Borderlands 3, who was very positive about it. And he later said that, guess what? He wanted to say a lot of things about it, but he wasn't allowed to because of the NDA, the non-disclosure agreement, that he signed. So that's another problem that, you know, comes with sponsored reviews. Now, let me take you through my headspace, my dome piece as well when it comes to these sponsored reviews, is that it's the misleading and deceptive nature of it. If a company feels that they need to sponsor the reviews that the creators will push out, and by the way, they will push out, the Borderlands guy who makes Borderlands video will not come out with a Borderlands 4 review of about all the things that he played with it. So it's not like the review's not going to come out if they don't sponsor the video, because what are they gonna do? Make their 90th Borderlands 2 playthrough, their 90th Allegiance challenge uploaded to their YouTube? No. The most views that they're gonna get and the most things that people want to watch right now is going to be the thing that just happened, not a playthrough of a game that they've played through a million times. So you can't even say that when they're sponsoring the reviews that they're just making sure the reviews come out so that people know about it. They're going to come out anyway, regardless. But if you have to respond to the reviews that you know are already going to come out, doesn't that show a little bit of inconfidence with your game or your product or whatever it is that you're trying to sell as a sponsor, for it to not be able to fully deliver the impression that you want, that you have to give money to these content creators that are already going to do what you're paying them to do? If that is, you know, do what they're already going to do. That is, if they are unbiased, which a little bit they're not. I mean, let's be 100% real. Now, I'm not trying to get, you know, the pitchforks out on 2K or Gearbox here, because they're not the only people handing out a paycheck for a favorable review, nor were they the first, nor will they be the last. Stuff like this has been happening for centuries at this point. I'm sure, you know, fucking Reginald in Town Square 600 years ago paid some people to vouch for his shoe cleaning services, even though they may not have been used, or they may not have used his, but, you know, that's all the more reason to stay vigilant and understand that these aren't 100% uncorrupted, you know, genuine opinions on the game so far, and that, you know, this won't be the last instance that you or I or anybody that, you know, exists on this world will see, you know, a paid opinion, you know, what have you, you know, somebody getting paid to represent something that they may or may not believe in. Now, how should you navigate around, you know, this news with the Borderlands 4 Fan Fest, all of the reviews being sponsored? How are they worth watching? You know, how should you navigate around stuff like this in general? Any review. Don't take anyone's opinion or advice completely at face value. Make sure you know the context around the content or advice that you are hearing and make your own judgment based on that. Even if you know the one that's telling you all these things are genuine, because it really sucks for me to look, you know, I looked at the streams and I looked at the reviews, and I do think that a lot of these people are genuine with their things that they're saying about the game, and some people are putting in complaints. I've said Jolt's dude a lot as a video and kind of painted him in a super negative light, but he has given out things that he felt was wrong with the game inside of that video that he was even sponsored for, which is really why I'm making this video, because just by the virtue of it being a sponsored review, people are going to take it, you know, completely, you know, disregard it when there really was no reason for a lot of this, you know, hoopla around it. Like, I came to my own conclusion about some of that stuff while I watched it, before I even, heard these reviews. And so I agree with a lot of these people that are coming out and saying this stuff. But there are also people who aren't, and I can't be 100% sure that that's even what they are saying, or if that's what they truly believe, because I can't read people's minds. Neither can you. The only thing that you can trust is your own judgment. So use your eyes, see what you can see, hear what you hear, make your own decision based off of that. Find out, do you think you can trust this? And just know that you can only really trust your own judgment. Because even sometimes, you can barely trust your own. So what makes you think you should be ready at the helm to take theirs? Before this video ends, I do just want to talk about loosely what I think about what I saw from the Borderlands 4 Fan Fest pre-release gameplay footage that I saw from everybody. I think the game looks good. I still don't really like the look of the weapons that have been in Borderlands since Borderlands 3. I think they look a little bit too, I don't know, they just look goofy. But a lot of the things that I disliked about Borderlands 3 have been, kind of cut down, a lot less visual clutter. Like, I could actually tell what was happening in the review, or not in the review, but, in the gameplay footage that I watched. I could actually see things going on, when compared to Borderlands 3, that's, at least for me, was, very troubling at times, even in some of the earlier zones, even when I didn't have crazy effect weapons, running around like a maniac, just slaughtering everything, so that was good. And I went from, almost hopeless about Borderlands to even being a little bit hopeful about Borderlands 4. So I will say I'm cautiously optimistic, but I am excited to see the game. I will be playing it. I will probably be uploading content on it, so just so that everybody knows where I stand in that field, because I thought, if I'm here, I might as well give my opinion on it. So, yeah, it's like 4 a.m. I'm going to go to bed. Thank you all, and good night.
Thanks for watching, gamers.
Remember to like. Inscribe.
Buy my merch.
Dr. Pepper Solos.